This mom thought it was okay to go out for a quick errand while leaving her dog to babysit her infant son. Their dog had always been very sweet with their boy, so both parents saw no harm in it. But when she got home after 20 minutes, she was amazed by what had happened. "I didn't know what I was seeing," explained the mother afterwards. "I was sure it was okay to leave our son with our dog for a little while, but she turned out to be wrong. Not because of the dog, but because of what actually happened. Because what happened that day was definitely unexpected." Before we start, can we get this video to 1,000 likes? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Crystal, 25, and Jason, 27, live in a small apartment together with their young son Jesse, 1, and their dog Lucky. While they lived in the city center, they had been on a tight budget for some time. What came and was spent on the necessities. That's why a paid babysitter was never really an option. Therefore, this task often fell on the shoulders of Jason's mother. But when diapers ran out one day, neither Jason nor his mother was available to babysit. So Crystal decided to go out and get some herself. How bad could it be? After all, Crystal had good reason to believe everything would be okay. Jesse and Lucky had always gotten along well. The young parents had hung up a baby camera in the house just to be sure. But Lucky was always very caring and considerate of little Jesse. So Crystal assumed it was perfectly fine to leave Jesse in the good paws of their dog when she went out to the store. When Crystal closed the door behind her, the baby and the dog were left alone in the house for the first time ever. Jesse was distracted at first with his toys, but he soon became bored. He kept looking around curiously. Was there anything else to play with? Then he caught sight of the dog. Lucky was peacefully sleeping next to Jesse and did not see coming what the little kid was about to do. Jesse rolled over and decided it was a good idea to put his fingers in the dog's ear. At first, Lucky wasn't aware of it, but once Jesse touched his inner ear, he woke up startled. Lucky was so startled by this that he jumped up and instinctively growled at his little attacker. But when he saw that it was only Jesse, he quickly softened and he gave the little boy a lick over his cheek. But it was that moment when Jesse didn't seem satisfied yet and decided to start crawling his way to the kitchen. As quick as he could, he crawled toward the lower kitchen cabinets and pulled them open. Numerous colorful items were stored here, so Jesse was immediately baffled by all the things he saw. He was never allowed to touch them before. There were tea towels, sponges, soap, and cleaning products. With his little hands, he grabbed everything and threw it out the cupboard. He threw around all kinds of products and had no intention of stopping. He didn't really give any notice to what those things were. He just liked to make the kitchen as dirty as possible. Until he noticed something. He came to a bottle that managed to hold his attention. He shook the bottle back and forth until he discovered the cap. He decided to take it with him to the other side of the kitchen. He turned the cap and its contents were shown. It smelled great, but what would it taste like? Jesse looked at the contents of the bottle with great interest. A yellowish liquid that foamed when he shook the bottle. But what would this crazy liquid taste like? He brought the bottle to his mouth and was about to take a sip when he was suddenly distracted by a loud bark. Lucky, who had been watching the boy the whole time, thought it really was time to intervene. He quickly ran towards the kitchen and took the bottle from Jesse. The little kid had made a huge mess of the kitchen. Just as Lucky wanted to pull Jesse out of the kitchen by his bodysuit, Crystal turned her key in the lock. Startled, she looked around. The kitchen was one big mess. Cleaning utensils were everywhere. Lucky, however, was not aware of any guilt and innocently walked towards Crystal with the open bottle of all-purpose cleaner in his mouth. He wanted to show what a good boy he had been. Crystal, however, was not happy at all about this. Yelling at the dog, she grabbed the bottle from his mouth and started cleaning up the mess in the kitchen. What she didn't know, however, was that she was completely wrong. Once she had cleaned up the mess in the kitchen and locked Lucky in his crate for punishment, Crystal decided to look at the camera footage from that day. How could this just happen? Lucky was normally a good dog who never tried anything like this. Luckily, the whole ordeal had been recorded. She opened the baby camera app and began to look back at the footage. But when she saw what had really happened, she slapped a hand in front of her mouth. Her dog was a hero. The world needed to know about this. Still amazed by the situation, she posted a short clip of the event on her social media. She immediately let Lucky out of his crate and hugged him tightly. He had made sure her baby son was unharmed, and therefore she was eternally grateful to him. In the meantime, wonderful comments were pouring in on her social media pages. People were excited by Lucky's heroism. The family was obviously very lucky with Lucky around, so he definitely was true to his name. That coming weekend, they made a pretty snapshot of Dad, Mom, Jesse, and Lucky together and posted it to all Crystal's followers as a thank you for their beautiful reactions. In the years to come, Jesse and Lucky became even better friends. Or better even, brothers. Once more, dogs proved to be men's best friend. Here's a photo of Jesse and Lucky later on. What a special dog!